You're waiting for
Oh,
what?
and we need the copybook.
Yes, you will be needing this. You will be needing a copy
Yeah,
of this
I will bring it.
notes, and I will try to upload this presentation on your Canvas as well. Okay, so let me run the slideshow. Okay, presentation is okay. So the first two pictures are telling you about the objectives. Number one is we got to see how the leaf look like. And the second thing we're going to look at is how does photosynthesis happen? What are the things that I need? And the plants, where is this presentation? Khalid, I will upload this presentation on the Canvas. You're going to find this in the week two. So in week two, you're going to find lesson, this is lesson three, I think, because Sunday I didn't take any lesson with you guys. So it's going to be lesson two or three. And this will take two consecutive lessons to finish. And there are people raising hands, starting with Ahmed Sunni. Yes, Ahmed. Ahmed, you have the mic. You're on mute. Ahmed Sunni, you have the mic, but we can't hear you. Okay, adjust your mic, and meanwhile, I'll give the mic to Ahmed Abul Alain. Yes,
Yes, Mister.
you were raising your hand.
Um,
Yes,
the title is plants.
yes. The
Thank
title
you.
is plants, and we will be studying about the structure of the leaf, the cells, how they're arranged, right? And inside the cell, where is the photosynthesis is happening, and what is photosynthesis as well. So Omar Saleh is raising a hand. Yes, Omar, you have the mic.
Mister, do you write this in the copy book?
No, you don't have to write all of this because this presentation will be uploaded, right? I'll put it on the canvas. And the second thing is what you have to write, what I'm drawing, whatever I'm going to draw on the presentation, you can write that with me, right?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So we have another hand coming up. Sami, yes,
Yes, Mister.
yes, you are raising a hand.
No, I'm raising my phone before when I tell you uh, I want to answer.
Okay, good. Good job. All right. So Ahmed Sunni, is your mic working now? Before we start, any other questions? Anybody? Ahmed Sunni, we can't hear you yet. So let's start then. I'm sorry. Whatever your question you have, you can send me the text chat, right? Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Let's see. Okay, so the glossary comes in. This presentation is actually prepared by one of the teachers from our uh, female section, the girls side. So, okay, so this is the glossary. These are the terms, these are the vocabularies that you have to understand before we start the lesson. Okay, so let me see the first one. It says photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the process, let me make it very simple. It's a process of making sugar in the presence of light. And only plants have the ability to do this because they have the chloroplast. Inside the cell, we have two different kinds of organelles. One is acting the opposite. If you look into the animal cell, a human cell, we have mitochondria. What does the mitochondria do? It takes the glucose, breaks it up, releases the energy for you to work around, releases carbon dioxide. So we are talking, we are we're listening to each other. Our brain is working. Every single activity that is in our body is using energy, right? So if I twist it back this way, if I just reverse this order, If I grab carbon dioxide, if I can grab energy and put it into a molecule of glucose, that is the job of the chloroplast. This is called photosynthesis. So the photosynthesis is actually the opposite of respiration. So this is respiration and this is synthesis. If you flip it back, it becomes photosynthesis. If you go this way, it becomes respiration. Mufti, yes, you would be needing a notebook because I might be writing something on the presentation, so you will be writing this with me. And can I raise my voice? Is this good enough, or should I go to the settings? Khalid, good? Where is Khalid? Khalid, I don't see your camera. Abdul Samad is trying to ask a question. Yes, Abdul Samad.
Yes, mister, the same thing. Your voice is a bit low. Can you please raise it a bit?
Okay. All right. Is this okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So I don't know what's wrong with the mic today. Everybody is complaining about this. So all right. Okay, I'll try to speak up louder as well. So I was saying that you have a chloroplast. Its job is to capture the energy from the sunlight, capture the carbon dioxide, and make a glucose out of it. So a glucose is a molecule which is full of energy. Now the mitochondria on the other side, it takes this glucose, breaks it apart, releases the energy which was captured from the sun, and then gives you carbon dioxide as well. So they are doing exactly the opposite of each other. And the amazing thing about this chloroplast and mitochondria is they have their own DNA. They do not belong to you. There's a theory about it that they are something, they were like a bacteria and they came into our cells and started working with us. So the plants and animals were able to make their own energy because of chloroplast. So this is photosynthesis. The second one is respiration. So if you're looking into the definition of these two, you're going to realize that they are the opposite of each other. One of them is capturing energy and the other one is releasing. Respiration releases energy from glucose and uses oxygen while we do this. No, Ahmed Sunni, we don't write this. Yusuf, we don't write this. This presentation will be given to you. I don't keep my presentations to myself. I give them to my students. Knowledge belongs to all. It's not somebody's inheritance. Now, the chlorophyll is actually a green stuff. You want to talk? Ahmed Sunni, I gave you the mic. Your mic doesn't work, man.
Mister, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, we write this or no?
You don't write this because the presentation will be available on the canvas.
Okay.
Comprende? Good. Do you understand me?
Yes.
Good job. But whatever I write on the slide, you have to write with me. Okay?
Okay.
Good. So right now we are just going through the definitions. We are looking at the chlorophyll. It's the green pigment inside the chloroplast that gives them the ability to capture the light. And the chloroplast is the organelle which is doing the photosynthesis. Glucose is a sugar molecule which has the energy which is made from the photosynthesis. Starch. When you have excess amount of sugar, when you know you have to save it somewhere for a long period of time, then you make starch. And what is the example of starch? Who's going to tell me starch examples? Yassine is going to tell me the starch examples. The one who is in the TV. Yassine Kashkari.
Yes, mister.
What is the example of a starch?
I don't know.
Really? It's very simple.
Yes.
Imagine of a plant who has stored a lot of food for himself. Which plant does that?
Which plant?
Yes, a plant who stores the food because he knows that the sunlight is not going to be there forever, or it's going to be winter, short, sunny days, and then I should store some food for myself. No? No idea? Okay, good. So we'll discuss that. Okay, no problem. Yassine, you're raising a hand. Yassine, Hani.
Yes, mister. Can I answer?
Yes, please.
So I know a plant that stores food for itself in the sunny days or things like this. It's a cactus.
Okay, cactus, good. It stores water actually. What about the food? Excess amount of food. That turns out to be, for us as a food as well. We love to eat plants.
The leaves store food.
Yes, the leaves actually produce the food. The leaves is the manufacturing site for the plant. So where do we store it? Extra amount of sugar stored as starch. It's a very simple answer. Once you hear, everybody will do this. So I'll give this to the geniuses. Who are the geniuses of my class? Khalid, you have the mic.
Yes, mister. Is your question where does the extra sugar go, or is your question which plant does store
You can answer
extra?
both, man. Answer them both, which is very
Okay.
good.
The place where they store food, I think it's the. Do you know the place where they make the seeds? I think it's there because it's the main part. I think it's in the own flour they store food, more food, so because they will not get too much rain or too much sun.
Okay, and
And plants that will not get that much sun or water is like when you go to the what do you call it, the jungles and stuff like that. They're mostly big trees which will cover from the sun or from the water or from the rain. When rain comes, those trees, when rain and sun, those high trees will block the sun, and sometimes the rain, which will not let the smaller plants grow and become big plants.
all right. Thank you, Khalid. I'll come back to you with the answers. Let me repeat my question again. Uh, what, which plant stores the food as a starch when they have excess amount of sugar in them? And number two, where do they store it? So let's check with Abdul Samad. Abdul Samad is raising a hand. Yes, Abdul Samad.
Is the part most probably from the glucose?
Sorry?
The where the starch is most probably stored in the glucose.
In the where?
Glucose.
What is a gluteus?
The 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth one. I don't know how to present glucose or something like
Glucose.
that.
Glucose.
Yes.
The glucose is the. Let me explain it again. Okay, hold on. I think I need to explain that part. When we go to the sugars, the simplest form is glucose. The smallest molecule of carbohydrates is glucose, right? Number one. Number two, leaves are producing it. The leaf of the plant is producing all the glucose. It's doing 24/7. All the sunlight is coming, it starts producing until it gets too much for the plant. It's growing, it's eating. Now they say we have excess amount of glucose. They convert the glucose into a very long chain, a very complex form, a very big molecule, which is called starch, right? So the starch is a complex form of glucose. Glucose is just a small tiny molecule, and starch is like this. So the first thing was, where do they store it? They would store in the roots, like carrots, right? Number two, they can store in the stem, like sugarcane. Number three, they can store in the fruit, like apples. So the excess amount of sugar that you have is going to be stored like a potato. Potato is full of starch. Carrots, they contain starch. So they have been stored into roots. These roots will start to swell up and become sweet when we eat it. Potatoes are tasting sweet when we eat it. So this is the storage part comes in. And remember, the glucose is the smallest molecule of carbohydrates, the simplest molecule of carbohydrates. And once you have excess amount of it, they convert it to starch. In human body, when we have excess amount of glucose, we convert it into fats. We all are obese, most of us, I am obese. So the layer of the fats that we see around our tummy is because of excess amount of sugar in our body. Abdul Samad has a question. Yes, question please.
Yes, Mister. But underground there is no chlorophyll. How do carrots get their color?
Exactly. They they are they are not doing the photosynthesis, number one. So they
Mm,
don't need the sunlight. Number two,
okay.
photosynthesis is happening in the leaves only, the green part. And the excess
Yes.
amount of sugar is going down the roots or maybe in the shoot or in the fruit. It's depending on the DNA of
Mm,
that plant. And how do they get the color of orange or white reddish? You know, reddish is white, carrot is orange or red. So the colors is another again a mystery for the science to find out how do they get their colors. They are pigments inside, just like chlorophyll. We have the orange
okay.
pigment, we have the red pigments, but how do they get that pigment? We don't know. How do the chlorophyll get a green pigment? We don't know that, right? So whatever excess amount of food that you'll develop, you'll keep on storing it. That's actually stored for the plant for himself, that when he knows that the time is not going to be good, I'm going to use that food. If you leave the carrot inside there for a long period of time, the shoots will fall off. And when that good time comes in, they start to grow back. They will start eating the carrot. The roots will start providing the food and the shoots will come out. Same with the
Okay.
case, same is the case with the onions. It's all these stored food. They actually store the food so that they can survive the bad time and come back and grow again when the time is good. So Khalid, I hope this explains the question. Any confusion, anybody who's unable? Khalid is raising a hand. Yes, you have the mic. And there's a chat. What unit is this? Faris, this is unit 1. And Khalid, you have the mic.
Yes,
And
mister.
yes, you were raising a hand.
So as you said that um, the plant dies, so the upper part dies, and then when it thinks it's the perfect time to grow, it eats the carrot and then it grows.
Yes. It utilizes the stored food inside and grows back again
So it stores the food in the carrot, like it's
in the
carrot. It
root.
stores the food in in the roots, and then when the plant dies and thinks it's the perfect time for it to grow again, it grows and takes the food from the storage.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, mister.
All right, good. So we have Yasin Hari. Okay, Yasin, you have the mic.
Yes, Mister. I didn't understand the sentence that you said about the carrot.
Okay, this is a backup plan. Whenever there's gonna be a bad time, for example, if it's snowing outside and there's no sunlight available, then what you're gonna do, how you're gonna survive? So you have to store the food in your body, like we have fats. In old times, when we didn't have refrigerators, the humans used to eat a lot and store the food as in fat. That would help them to live for 2 days, 3 days, and 4 days without eating. So same is the case with the plants. When they have excess amount of food, they would store either in their shoot or in their root, depending upon which type of plant is it. And when the bad, unfavorable time is over, they start, when the sunlight comes in and they have to grow again, they start utilizing that stored food.
Okay.
All right.
But Mister, will you send this picture?
This presentation will be shared with you all.
Do we need to study this picture, the green one?
Yes, we will. We will study this picture in detail. It's okay,
Okay.
Daim, you're late. Okay, no problem. All right. Has Yasin? Okay. So let's go to the palisade cell. Now look at this. Let me show you the diagram. Let me palisade. Here's the annotation. Let me get the marker. Okay. Can you read this part? Palisade mesophyll, right? Now these are the cells This is a type of cells which has a lot of chloroplast. These are responsible for doing the Yasin Gashkari, sorry, I cannot give you the remote control. So these are responsible for, doing the photosynthesis. If you're looking at the top layer, it says it's a cuticle, right? The cuticle is the waxy layer. So it prevents the water to be evaporated out of the leaf because the sunlight is pretty strong. I mean, it can evaporate the water from the sea. So from the leaves, it prevents, it doesn't stop 100%, it prevents up to 80 to 90%. Still 10% water is getting evaporated, right? The second thing is upper epidermis layer, which is like a protection. It's like a skin. And the third is the palisade mesophyll layer. They are responsible for doing the photosynthesis as they have a lot of chloroplast. Now, stomatas are the small holes through which the water evaporates, through which the carbon dioxide enters. So there's no stomata in this diagram, but we'll see, oh, there is. On the lower side of the leaf, I forgot to mention that because on the upper side, we have the cuticle. On the upper side, we are covering it with wax, so water doesn't go out. On the lower side of the leaf, like this is my leaf, upper side and lower side. This is gonna be waxy. This is gonna have pores, small pores inside, through which the oxygen and carbon dioxide go in and out. Oxygen coming out, carbon dioxide going in. At daytime, carbon dioxide goes in, oxygen comes out. At night, it reverses. Carbon dioxide comes out, oxygen comes in. Anybody who can tell me why does this happen? Hands. Who are my geniuses in the class? 2 participants. Malik, you raised hand first. You got the mic.
Yeah, mister.
Yes.
Because you need oxygen to live, and the carbon dioxide is what leaves when you're breathing, the carbon dioxide comes out because you cannot live without
Perfect.
the oxygen.
Perfect answer. Brilliant. So do not annotate. Come on, boys. You're all grown ups over here. So I don't have to disable your annotations. So I'm putting everybody's hand down. This was a perfect answer. The plants are a living thing and they need to respire as well. They do it in the morning time as well, but it is sorry. Oh, I didn't turn on the recording, man. No, I did. Let me check if the recording is going because yes. So in the morning time, they are breathing, but there's photosynthesis happening as well. So whatever carbon dioxide they release, it's actually getting utilized for photosynthesis. Number 2, at night, photosynthesis stops, the sun is out, so they are still breathing, and that releases the carbon dioxide into the air. And there's a very famous saying that do not sleep under the tree at night because it's not healthy. You'll have a lot of carbon dioxide in your system. You will feel uneasy and etc. etc. So let's go to the spongy mesophyll. Okay, the third layer, the fourth layer, sorry, the fourth layer, let me get the marker. The fourth layer is the spongy, not this one is not a good marker. Spongy mesophyll layers. What do they do? Oops, sorry. They are at the bottom of the leaves with large air spaces in between them, and they allow the carbon dioxide to get absorbed or oxygen, depending upon what is the need of it. Do we have some people in the waiting room? No, there's nobody in the waiting room. Okay, so Sami is raising a hand. Yes, Sami.
No, I'm waiting to do another answer.
Answer what?
Any answer you ask, because the any answer I want to answer it.
Any answer you want to answer? Wow. Okay, so answer me this answer that Yasin, Hari, we have to decide this. This information will be coming out in a week. So just hold on. So what does a spongy mesophyll do? Spongy mesophyll. What do they do? Sami, you muted yourself already? Okay.
I think they absorb the water and the carbon dioxide.
The water is absorbed by the roots.
Yeah, the roots.
The roots. And what does the mesophyll, a spongy mesophyll do? They absorb the oxygen or the carbon dioxide, depending upon the scenario. So Yasin, okay, thank you, Sami. Good job, good effort. Okay, so we'll go to the next slide. Next slide, next slide. Or do we have anything else on this page? Actually, I've got a lot of, we have xylem and phloem, which is very important. I've got a lot of controls and videos going on around this, so sometimes I'm unable to see the complete slide. Xylem and phloem, who would like to? Muhammad Mufti, what is xylem used for?
Xylem.
Yes.
Violet, you mean?
Violet?
What
is
it called
violet?
again?
Xylem. 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 Scientists like to pronounce it xylem.
From the body, and where is it on the body?
Not in the body.
Because I'm not the, I don't know what means this. That's why I'm not that. I'm
Okay,
asking you.
No problem, no problem. We'll discuss that. Anybody who would like to explain what is xylem, what does it do, where is it, function, structure? Okay, Abdul Samad. Yes, Abdul Samad.
Yes, Mr. The xylem, its function is to carry the water's and minerals / nutritions from the roots to the leaves.
Good. So there's a tube system which is connecting from the roots, from the ground, take it up to the leaves because they need water to do the photosynthesis. Once you start producing the sugar, you have to provide the sugar down to the roots, which is going through the phloem. So xylem going up, phloem going down. Water and salt up, sugar produced going down, and to the rest of the parts of the plant body as well. Right?
Okay.
Good. Anybody who's not clear about this? Muhammad Mufti, do you understand now? It's a tube system. You will see that the water rises up against the gravity because of two forces. Number one is a capillary action. Number two is a transpirational pull. We will study about these in the, I think, in the coming lessons or maybe in the higher grades. So that's why the water rises up, even if the tree is 200 meters tall, right? The water molecule which is evaporating from the leaves creates a suction. You know the suction process, if I start sucking from one end, I can suck the water no matter how far it is. So it is like a pumping setup as well. Plus the water has adhesive nature. It likes to go up. That is capillary. Yes, Khalid, you are right. Water and minerals through a tube which goes to the... No. It's not going to the roots. It goes from the root to the leaf. From the roots to the leaf. Khalid, are you listening? So your starting point is from the roots, and it takes the material up to the leaves. That is xylem. And if the food which you are saving as glucose, it's in the watery form, it's a solution, has to go down from the leaves to the roots through phloem. Okay, perfect. So let's check this one. Okay, who's gonna read this for me? Malik Al-Ghalib, you have the mic. Man, I didn't understand why sugars goes down. Okay, hold on, Malik, before you... this is a very important point. Look, the roots have cells, right? The roots wants to grow, wants the food. So deep down inside the soil, all they can have is water and salts. There is no sugar down there. Every living organism wants to have glucose to grow. It's a food. Allah created this food for a cell. It goes into the cell, it goes into the mitochondria, you break it apart, you release carbon dioxide, and you release energy. You release that energy to grow up, to walk around, to do all the activities of the life. So roots deep down, they are under darkness, pitch darkness. There is no sunlight there. There is no air as well. So they have to absorb the water and the salts. So who's going to give them the food? So the guys up there, the leaves, they are making the food. He sends the water to them. The roots sends them the water, and in return, they return it with the food, so they can grow as well. So the roots keeps on growing, and the tree becomes stronger and older and bigger, right? So Mahan had a very good question. So Malik, you have the mic. What does this slide
Yes,
tell us?
mister, what's the question?
The question is, what does this slide tell us?
The slide tells us all the food we eat comes from the glucose plants make.
Okay, hold on. Excellent point. The first point is all the food in this universe is coming from the plants. They are called the primary producers. Primary producers because they are getting the energy from the sun, and they are the only one who can create the food for themselves. And how much time do we have left? I mean, anybody can text me on the chat. So whatever food we are getting is from the plants. We are the secondary consumers. The primary producers are the plants. Number two, Malik.
All the oxygen we breathe comes from the oxygen they release.
Okay, so we're left with only 2 minutes, and somebody says 6 minutes. What is this going on, boys? Who
6 minutes.
6 minutes? Okay, thank you, Rada. Thank you, Abdul Samad and Khalid. You need to update yourself. Okay, thank you. So the second point, Malik said, all the oxygen we get is from the primary producers. So the primary producers are doing two jobs. They're not only giving you the food, they're also giving you the oxygen to breathe. So you have to be very grateful to the plants. And number three, Malik.
Plants use photosynthesis to produce glucose and oxygen.
Yes, we did that. Number four.
One of the raw materials that plants need to make food comes from the soil, and the other comes from the air.
All right, so whatever we need to do the photosynthesis, there's two things: water, which is coming from the roots, and the carbon dioxide, which is coming from the air. So the plant is self-sufficient. Air is abundant around us. Plus the sunlight. Without the sunlight, they won't be able to do this job. So we have a lot of hands coming up. Let's go to the question session. Let's start with who raised the hand first. Abdul Samad, you have the mic.
Yes, mister.
You were raising a hand. Do you have a question?
No, I left it raised.
Okay, sorry about that. So let's go to Khalid.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. Khalid,
Yes, mister.
you have a question?
Yes, I do have a question actually.
Yes, please.
Scientists, how did they discover each cell in the leaves or in the stem? I know they discovered it by the small telescopes, but how? Like it's a million cells just in one leaf. How did they discover each single one?
Okay, that is a very big topic. Plus, we can see a documentary on this. It's all related to microscope. You got it right. And as the microscope started to develop better and better, we were able to go into the cell and find out what it looks like. The first picture we had was like in 1857, the first picture that we saw was like the tiniest dots in a box. It looked like they were prisons. Like the first guy Robert Hooke, he was able to see this. And he thought that these are like prisons. And he named it cell. A cell in English will also mean the prison. So once we developed to magnify, and the light microscope can magnify up to 1500 times. A light microscope can magnify up to 1500 times, but the electron microscope can go up to 10 million times. So once we were able to invent the electron microscope, they were able to see everything. How actually electrons are moving in and out on the basis of atoms. A cell is made up of thousands of atoms. Only the cell membrane around it contains carbon, nitrogen, hydrogen, oxygen. So these are the four basic elements, basic atoms. So once they were able to create an electron microscope, which helps you to see an electron of the atoms, you can see the whole universe of the cell, just like that. Everything was apparent. But
Okay,
there's a
thank you,
big,
Mr.
there's a big documentary on it. Inshallah, we'll try to watch it. Anybody else? Next is after Khalid, we have Yasin Hari. Okay, you have the mic. Let me mute this. Yasin. Yasin, you're not getting the mic. Ahmed Sunni, we are running out of time, boys. So,
Mister, I left Banan from before. Sorry.
okay, sorry, accepted. Malik. Okay, I think what is the time? Let me check the time. 11:25. Because any teacher would come in and kick me out. That would be very bad. Who is this? Yeah, 11:25. So we're left for 2 minutes. So we'll go to Sami. Sami Bogri, you have the mic. Yes, Sami?
Yes, Mr. We will have some homeworks.
Yes, definitely. We'll have homeworks, which is on your canvas.
When
Go
we
to
will
the
take
module.
it.
Go to the module. In the week 1 and week 2, you'll see separate folders of homework with their deadline of submission as well, like 15 September or 30 September. The dates are mentioned on it. Plus, you'll have the weekly modules, weekly homework modules. They will give you the information on it as well, right?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So Malik, last minute. Malik, you have the mic.
Mister, will there be a quiz, like just see if how good you are in this type of subject or lesson?
The quiz makes me smile. Yes, there will be quizzes, and you can take, I think, about 2 to 3 attempts. And these quizzes will be, inshallah, I'll try to make them easy, or maybe it will be from the girl side. So whatever the case is, we'll try to keep it simple and easy, and it's just to
And
help you.
will there be a quiz this week?
Not this week, because this week we started.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we have to finish a unit before we take a quiz. All right, boys, that would be all for today, and I'm stopping the recording.